And welcome everyone to the Connections event for Queensland. Thank you for joining me here this evening in this digital capacity. Um, I am Jason Weagle. I am both the region lead for Queensland here, as well as a part of GovHack Australia Limited. I am a director and the chair of the company. I would first like to acknowledge the traditional custodian of the various lands from where we're watching. For me here, that is the Yagara and the Turrbal people. And I pay my respects to elders past and present and celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of Australia. I would also like to thank our various sponsors that make GovHack possible. As our lead international sponsor, we once again have Emphasis coming in as the lead international sponsor. This year, as a international event partner, we have the Torrens University of Australia, who are providing venues throughout multiple cities around Australia and New Zealand. We have our Australian national sponsors. These include the Australian Taxation Office, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and the Clean Energy Regulator, as well as the National Freight Data Hub. We have a number of Australian community partners, including the Hackathons International, Founders Institute, Luma Institute, and Mural, as well as Credly. Here in Queensland, we have a number of sponsors, starting with the Queensland Government, who is our gold sponsor, and we have our silver sponsors, Moreton Bay Regional Council and Unity Water. Our partners are the University of Queensland as an event partner, AnyHub as a supporting partner, and Uni SC as a venue partner. So thank you very much to all our sponsors that make these events free for our participants, not just here in Queensland, but throughout Australia and New Zealand. Thank you very much. So, now for what you're here for. What is GovHack? You would have seen a little bit in the starting video. We are a festival of ideas. The purpose of GovHack is to identify new and interesting ideas of using open government data in ways that will eventually make our communities better places. We have a hackathon that has been running for many years now, starting in 2009. We've been going pretty much every single year, where we have a 46-hour competition that this year will be taking place on the 19th to 21st of August in many different cities. Here in Queensland, we have two venues in Brisbane, a venue in Moreton Bay, and we also have the digital competition for anyone outside of those regions to participate. In the competition, people come together to look at the challenges that are presented by our government and non-government sponsors that put together a challenge to participants for how you're able to use this data to mash it up and create new visualizations or ways of engaging with its data. GovHack is a not-for-profit that has a mission of creating these better places using open data. A lot of people, when they hear GovHack first, they go, oh, no, you're going to break into the government. No, that's not what we're doing. The hack in this instance is looking at ways to form quick or inelegant solutions to particular problems, or to program a computer in a clever, virtuosic, or Weasley manner. So it's trying to bash things together, trying to create a hack job of a project. It's something that is quick, and it's not necessarily the most beautiful, but it gets the job done at explaining the idea of what it is, and it looks at engaging citizen hackers that are using open government data for the better. We want to engage these people. We are inclusive and free for all. So we try and make our venues as open as possible for anyone to come and participate. By doing this, we can make it free, so that when you come in, that you're there to respond to these different challenges. You don't need to worry about other things that are going on. We have a hackers first mentality, where we want to make sure that the hackers are getting everything they need. We try to be as regional as possible. We try and get venues from all around the country, so it's not just in our capital cities. And where we can't have physical venues, we allow digital participation throughout, and we connect with people using our digital platforms. We're volunteer driven. We provide transparent access. We believe in open access for all. So the open data that we're using is all open, comes under open source licenses, and we, as part of this competition, anything that you develop would get released under an open source license, but it doesn't mean that it's not yours anymore. You retain the intellectual property of anything that you develop in this competition, but it allows people to make derivatives of it to promote the common good. And we believe in fair data principles. Who participates in GovHack? GovHack is open for anyone to participate in. Our primary participants are students, whether they be from a university level, a secondary school, or even a primary school level. Our youngest competitor was a person from Queensland a few years ago. They were a 4-year-old that was at our Logan venue that was competing with his big brother, and they looked at identifying and mapping the crash sites within Queensland, and they were using web technologies for this. He was coming up with ideas and assisting his brother in doing some of the programming for it. But this doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have high tech level skills for this. You can make proof of concepts without the high level tech. So we are open to all different ages and skill levels. In saying that, we had, in the same year that we had our youngest competitor, who was 4, we also had a gentleman in Ipswich who was in his 80s, and they were looking at a problem around insolvency and detecting and showcasing where there are insolvencies in the area. So there is age doesn't matter for this. You can have any different age. We generally have, besides our students, then we have public servants, people in the tech industry, and data lovers. One of the things that we do find is Emphasis, whose logo was just up on the screen there. One of the things that they get involved in GovHack is as a recruitment opportunity. They are looking for people to recruit into their organization, so that if you can showcase any skills that you have in here, they may be able to recruit you. And it's not just their technical skills; they're looking for different people as well for this. And you can compete in all over the country. So on my next slide, you can see all the different locations that we've had events in the past. So we've had events all through Queensland, all around Australia and in New Zealand. And then in addition to these, there is events that are digital in nature, where you don't have to come to one of these sites. You can participate remotely as well. I am noticing some questions in the chat. I will come to these at the end. So if you have any questions, please do drop them in the chat, and I'll come to them soon. In the last 2 years, with COVID transitioning to a digital nature, we've had about 500-ish participants that have been participating throughout this, as people were moving away from wanting to be on computers all the weekend. But now that we're coming back to physical events all throughout the country, we're hoping to see more participation as people come and get out of their homes and come into our venues in a safe manner, where we would encourage people to wear masks if you're getting close up, or spread out further so that if you don't want to wear the mask. So in the past, we've had upwards of 1,000 people. We're looking to get again to this year. We have a very large Slack community of about 4,500 people, and this includes participants from various different years, as well as our mentors and some of our sponsors who get involved in what's going on. We have a large following on social media so that we can reach out to a wide range of people. So, what do you get out of participating in GovHack? Well, one thing that I will say first is, yes, there is prize money. Prize money is awesome, but that's not the only thing that you get out of this. You get to build your digital and entrepreneurial skills and experiences. So by participating in GovHack, you can get challenged to try new things, and you are given permission to try new things. It's you aren't locked into a specific mindset of what you're doing. This is something that will last 46 hours, so that you're not spending too much time on it, and you could potentially throw it away at the end, or you could keep it going, depending on how it goes. You can try new technologies. If it's something new, you can play with new lots of data that you haven't tried before for this. It also gets you to pitch your idea to new people in a very short video, so that this could potentially be ways that you could go to turning your idea into a business if you wanted to, or you could look at getting employed through your idea. It will raise awareness in public data sets. The government releases a vast amount of open data, and this data is something that they release, and it shows their transparency. So we would look at getting people to look at this data, see what it is, and make use of it. This is open and free for anyone to use with acknowledgement. So see what is being released, make use of it, do something creative. Data is a great way of solving challenges. In this competition, while we aren't solving challenges, 46 hours isn't enough time to solve something, but you can generate ideas that could potentially in the future be turned into solutions. But from this competition, you'll get an idea, and if you take it further, it may eventually become a product or a solution. You can get connected with other students, potential employees, employers, industry, and government, so that you could potentially go and work for these organizations, or they could potentially buy something off of you. And it connects aspiring students with future career opportunities, not just from around GovHack, but great ways of putting things on your portfolio to showcase what you've been doing. One of the things that we see in the tech industry is showcasing your previous experience of working on projects, so they will check out your the GitHub profiles to see what you've been working on, how you've been contributing to showcase it. And for those that are not in the tech space, but more might be in the design or the creative space, it would be a perfect thing to put in your portfolio of something that you've been doing. So looking at where you can participate in Queensland for this, we have a number of different venues around Queensland. In Brisbane, we have 2 locations. One of these is in the Fortitude Valley at the Torrens University. That is right by the Story Bridge. So it'll be a great venue to go out and have a look. Very close to the city. We also have a slightly larger venue for those that are participating that might be on our western suburbs to participate, coming into St Lucia at the University of Queensland. I would say that we have here a big lake that you could walk around, but at the moment the lake is having work done to it, so you can see the progress of how the university is updating the environment in the area. We also then have, for people in Moreton Bay, at the University of the Sunshine Coast, at the Moreton Bay campus, which is in Petrie. So you can participate in any of these physical venues, or you can participate digitally as part of the Digital Queensland Conference. For this, you'll join participants that are online on Slack, as well as in our on most likely on Slack. There is also Zoom or Teams if you want, depending on what your group wants to work with. But we provide Slack as our main communication platform for this. Both our physical participants and our digital participants will be on this platform, so you can form teams that are across different locations or across the physical or the digital. You can also form teams of people that are outside Queensland. You could work with people from any parts of Australia or New Zealand as well. So, how can you get involved and get started in what we're doing? Um, so, if you getting started, want to see how things are going, jump onto our Slack. This is if you're a previous participant and you've created a Slack profile before, you can head to govhackhq.slack.com and join in to and just re-log in. If you're a new participant who hasn't participated in this, if you head to govhack.org/Slack, you'll be able to register a new account on there and then join into the different channels. Some channels that you'll want to pay attention to is the announcements channel. So this is where over the competition weekend we will give you information about what's going on and any relevant information that you need. You can jump into the Find Teams channel. This is where you can go, hey, I'm working in this location in Brisbane, and I think I might want to work on a challenge around the environment to potentially form teams. Shouting out what skills you have, or if you have a small team and you're looking for more people, this is a great place to check. We have the Hack Queensland, and there's also the Hack of all the different regions where you can join in from participants from just Queensland. We then have the Mentors channel. So this is where we have people from our government and non-government sponsors who, if they're coming along to the competition, not to participate and submit entries, but to rather assist people that are, this is where you can talk to these mentors. About the different data sets, about the different challenges, and they can give you assistance as needed. Once you've done that, you can check out the profile pages on the Hackerspace. So where you registered to join this event, you can create a profile and say that if you're going to, what event you're going to, if you're looking for a team, what skills you have, so people can check out and look to start forming teams. You can also link to your Slack profile. So if you find someone that you're interested in, you can go click on their profile, and if you're both connected, your profiles on Slack, it'll open up a direct chat with them so that you can start sharing ideas. As a part of our things, while you won't be officially forming teams as part of GovHack until next Friday, you're more than welcome to start working out who you want to be in your team and then lock that down on the Friday night. So you can get started now by jumping into Slack, into that Find Teams channel, or you can look at the Hackerspace profiles. You can encourage your friends or colleagues that you might be interested to be in your team. When it comes to the competition, you can form teams with people at the same physical event. So we'll run some activities on the Friday night to help get people into teams around the ideas that there are, as well as on the digital. You can link out with people via Slack on the digital competition opening. So that's how you can get started. Other things you may be interested in is having a look at the data portals and the data sets and the tech that we're recommending for this year. These are available under the Resources tab on the Hackerspace. This information will be going live from this weekend. So go and have a look at the portal and the data sets and some of the tech that may be relevant to you competing. Um, uh, you can also have a look at previous years' ones, which I'll showcase in just a moment. Um, if you're interested in what data, before we give some recommendations, you can always check out the open data portals of that are available from the government. There is national data portals for Australia and New Zealand. There's ones for Queensland and all the different states and territories around Australia, and a lot of the local councils. Some of these have their own site, or some are linked in to their state or the national data portal. So you can see all this different data that's available. In the competition, we highlight some specific ones that will be relevant for you, but you're more than welcome to use any open data set that's available in this. Some of the challenges will have you must use at least this data, but once you've met the challenge requirements, you're then welcome to use any other data that helps support the idea that you're coming up with. In Queensland, the data portal that you should be paying attention to the most is data.qld.gov.au. This is the Queensland government's data portal that has a vast load of data sets and resources to work with. So go and have a look over there before the competition to see what new sets of data that they're releasing, what's being refreshed, because it may give you some insight to where the challenges are potentially going for this year. You can always check out the hackerspace from last year. So if you head to 2021.hackerspace.govhack.org, and this will go all the way back to the 2018, so 2018.hackerspace.govhack.org, you can look at the previous projects that people have submitted to get an idea of what people have done in the past, get some inspiration, work out what level of detail that is needed in submitting these. So you can see all the vast difference one of these. So I'll showcase one from last year, which was the Energix project, which was looking at revolutionizing the energy sector. So this used a number of different data sets. So you can, if you want to go to this, you can check out their project page, where it lists their team members, description of their project. It also lists information about the data sets they've used, the challenges that they've entered. So this is all things that you'll need to do. So if you're participating in GovHack and submitting an entry, the things that you'll need to do by the end of the competition is create a descriptive project page. So this is on the hackerspace, you'll have a page where you explain what your project is, what it does, provide some images, some screenshots that indicate this. If you check out last year, you can see examples of these. You provide talk about the data that you've used. So this is providing a data story. How have you combined and formed the data to tell a story for this? You'll need to create a 3-minute video that showcases your project and how you've used the data in response to the challenge or challenges that you've entered. When you're competing in GovHack, a single project that you enter can enter up to 5 different challenges. So you may find that some challenges have that are aligned, so that you can respond with a single idea to both of these challenges. You need to provide evidence of work. So this is releasing the source code or the creative work that you've produced under an open source license that enables other people to reuse and, with acknowledgement, of course, your work. This is to showcase that the work that you've developed has been created during the competition weekend. So ways of showcasing this is a link to the GitHub project that you've created. It could be a share of such as like Google Drive or Dropbox. The only restrictions on this is that it needs to be accessible to anyone that goes to it. So you need to share it under the permissive settings to allow anyone to view it, so that we can when judges come around, they can actually judge your sites. If they can't get access to it, they can't judge it. And then lastly, we look to see a demo of it. So if you have a website, you can put this online. Some things aren't necessarily demoable. Some you may want to do another short video. So some of the things that you can do, it doesn't necessarily need to be websites. You could produce a mobile application, or you could do something creative. Some of the great things that we've seen in the past is of the maker style aspects. So we've had a sand pit that was modeled the water runoff within one of the dams that looked at doing the ecological impacts. So they actually constructed a physical thing for this. Others are 3D printed or CNC'd designs that utilize data. We've also then had a thing that was using a Arduino, so a small little microprocessor that was reading in data, and it was a structure that looked like a woman that was representative of Mother Nature, that then had lights and servo motors in it that would respond to the pollutants that were in the air and in the ground based on some Queensland data. So it would change colour and it would make visible wheezing noises in response to if the air was polluted or not. So these are different ways that you can do it. It doesn't necessarily need to be a website for this. So some way of demonstrating this. If it's a website, throw it online, give a link to the website. If it's something that is harder to demonstrate, you can put another short, and I say short in this 30 seconds for these demos if it's a video, but it should be showcased in your 3-minute video for this. And all this then needs to be submitted by 5 p.m. on the Sunday evening. So, on the competition weekend, if you're coming to one of our physical events, you'll get a badge that looks somewhat like this. This was styled one of the ones that we had from last year. You'll get one similar to this, which will have your information and information on the back, which will help you navigate around. On the front of these, if you're one of our the hackers, you'll get an indication of your skills. So whether you're a data person, whether you're a coder, whether you're a creative, or whether you're a facilitator, that you can use to help form you into teams so you can quickly identify the different skill sets that you have. You'll then also see that there is whether you're a hacker, a youth hacker, sorry. So these are participants that are under 18 that are coming along to our venues. Typically, they'll need a guardian to be present as well at our venues, but open to all for this. We then also have our mentors. So these are the people that you want to go talk to about your ideas, about the data sets, and about the challenges. We may have some VIPs and sponsors present at the locations that you attend, and then we'll also have the crew. So these are the GovHack volunteers that are there to assist you over the weekend for this. So when you come in on the weekend, what is going to happen? On the Friday night, our venues for the most part will open at 5 p.m. Check on the hackerspace for what is the local time for you. For this, they vary depending on the specific venue, so check out where it is. Presentations at venues will start at about 6 o'clock, where we will go through how to compete, any of the local information, and a few short talks from our sponsors. At 7 p.m, the competition formally starts. I will have a national video that showcases some of the key challenges and the challenges that you're entering and competing over the weekend will be announced. These are announced all at 7 p.m. Local time, so that every team is working based on a local time. So if you're in Queensland, this will be Australian Eastern Standard Time. And if you're competing, say, in New Zealand, you'll be in New Zealand time. If you're in WA, it'll be in Western time for this. Venues will stay open till late on the Friday night, depending on their specific venue. Some of these will be at 10 o'clock, some may be midnight. Check on the Hackspace to see what time your venue is closing for this. Venues will then reopen on Saturday morning, where you can start, take the ideas that you developed on the Friday night and start continuing working on them. We will be having a mentor morning tea on the Saturday at 10 a.m. Sorry, local time, where you can the mentors will pitch and talk to you about their skills and what they're doing, so you can go, I need to go speak to that person because they have important information for the challenges that I'm entering. We recommend that by midday on the Saturday that you've worked out exactly what challenges that you're going to be working on, and you enter those into the hackerspace on your team page so that that's locked in. You can change it later, but this is when we go, this is a good time to do this. This also gives us time so that when we're coming around to teams, we go, if we see the challenges that aren't don't have people responding to them at this time, if we see that it's relevant to the thing that you're working on, we can suggest challenges to you if they're relevant to the area that you're working in. On the Saturday evening, we're going to have a trivia night. So this will be about an hour to take time out of working on your project, but to then have a little bit of fun, take a break, join us. So this is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and people from New Zealand and all throughout the other states and territories of Australia will be joining in on this. This will be through YouTube, so in our physical venues, we'll have this up on the big screen, and you can play the trivia on your mobile device for this. And we'll have some of our bandanas, which are for our volunteers. We'll have a few of these on site to potentially hand around to people based on their how they're going on their trivia. That's then Saturday will close sometime in the evening. Check your local venue for the specific time. On the Sunday, this is where you want to start wrapping up the projects that you're doing. Get the code, get the design, get whatever you're doing as your submission finalized. We recommend that by midday, that this is when you want to start getting your video recorded. Even though it's a 3-minute video, it will take more than 3 minutes to film and prepare. Give it enough time so that you can do a good job of this. This is something that it doesn't need to be filmed on a big shiny camera. You can just record it on your mobile phone. That is fine. Or if you're doing this for a website, use a screen recorder. You can use things such as OBS. And if you're at our physical venues, I can show you how to do that. Or if you're online, there are different resources for how you can just do an OBS recording of your screen and then save it out. You can then also do some of this in YouTube or on Vimeo, depending on what platform you prefer. We recommend that by 4 p.m. you start your video and your project upload so that you have plenty of time to do it. If there is internet issues and your file sizes are big, this allows enough time for them to get online. If you're in one of our physical venues and there's piles and piles of teams that are trying to upload all at once, that may be an issue. So we recommend giving enough time to get these uploaded. As soon as you get your video URL, you can put that in your project page. So YouTube will give you the video URL as a few moments after you start uploading, so that you can put that on the Hackspace already. And then for your project page, make sure you've submitted the last final version to the repo that you're using, and then put that link into the Hackerspace. You can also do this much earlier. So if you are using GitHub as your repository, or say Dropbox for creatives, or Google Drive, you can get those URLs right on the when they're created on the Friday or the Saturday and pop them in to the hackerspace. Just keep in mind, if you change the formatting of that you do update it as needed. Then you need to have your project submitted by 5 p.m. local time on the Sunday. So that this is when the submissions will cut off, and anything that is on the hackerspace, this is what we'll be handing over to the judges. In terms of themes for this year, we have 3 major themes. These are around the environment, around social, and around governance. So we've asked our sponsors to give us challenges that are related to these. Within each of these, there is subcategories. So in the climate, we have things around climate change, we have things around renewable energies, and sustainable resource management. So one of the challenges may fall into these. We also might find that some challenges will go between one and the other. An example of this is around things like electricity and water. There is both environmental impacts on how it's used and potential lack of it, and there are then social implications on how people are using it and what stories that they're telling. For the social, we have the main things that we're looking at for this year around skills development, diversity and inclusion, and health and well-being. While in our governance area, data governance and better use of data. So some of the challenges may be things like best use of a specific API or data sets that are related to our sponsors. So they're kind of open-ended that you can respond to these. If you're looking for some examples of the challenges that have happened in the past, go check out the different hackerspace versions. So from 2018 through to 2021, you can see the different versions of the hackerspace and the different challenges that have presented, along with the different projects that have been developed in response to these. The themes change from year to year, so that they may not necessarily align with these new ones, but for the most part, you'll get something similar. So, with that being said, what happens if your project? What happens after your project is submitted? We'll go through a judging process. This happens with our sponsors. They will be given your different entries where they will judge them based on a set of criteria, looking at how creative it is, how it responds to the challenge, how it uses the data, how it's documented, and these different information, which is the criteria for this is available on the GovHack website. We'll then have an award ceremony for us here. It'll be held in Brisbane in about the middle of September. And then if you go on to win one of our national international challenges, we'll be having an award ceremony for that in October. So it takes a little bit of time for us to get the judging through, because we want to make sure that we give each of these projects fair time to go through it and respond to it. And we'll keep you in line with where the judging process is tracking. So you want to also make sure that your entries are available for the judges right up and through till about November at a minimum. Because by November, that's when we will have had all our award events, so to be able to showcase what's going on. If you're successful and you end up creating a project that or an idea that resonates with what the judges think, you can go on to win some prizes. In some of these will be financial prizes, or these could be in-kind prizes. And the prize pools vary from it. This year we have around a ballpark of about $40,000 in our overall prize pool. For our national and international winners, you can go on to win some of these shiny medals. These are the medals that we actually hand out to our winning teams. Every team member will get one of these medals along with certificates as well as their financial prize that is associated with it. So that being said, I'm out of my slides and I'm now going on to the Q&A. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, drop them into the chat on YouTube, and I'll be able to respond to them. I am going to grab a drink of water. I'm just going to replay that what is GovHack video while that's happening. If you have any questions, drop them in the YouTube chat, and I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so I'm back. So one of the questions that we had was looking, someone was looking for people from Surrey Hills for looking for connections. Most of the people in this one will be from Queensland, but that doesn't mean that you can't form teams across these different venues. If you're in one of our Queensland venues, you're able to form up with people in um, different locations such as the New South Wales Surrey Hills, which is in Sydney, as well as forming up with people in New Zealand, potentially in the Auckland venue, or you can join in with people in the online formats. So all of these formats, you can join up with anyone for these. Talk to people on Slack to start forming these teams. On the competition weekend, on the Friday night, we'll run some help to make sure that everyone can get into a team if they're looking at it. Teams will be, you can participate as an individual if you'd like, or teams can go all the way up to 10 people. So you can have as few or as many as you want, essentially. One thing to keep in mind, if you go to 10, and if you win some prizes, that's less prize money. The more people to share that prize money around with. So a good size is about 4 to 5 people, and you want a distribution of skill sets. You don't want just people that are all techies that can code, and you don't want all people that are just creatives. You want to get a wide range of skills. So you'd want someone that is ideally someone that can be classified as a coder, someone that can do a little bit of stuff with data or databases, someone that can do your creative designs, someone that can look at the user experience of your idea, someone that can be the leader, and then someone that if you can, get someone that is relevant to the challenge area. So looking for people with life experience that is different from your own, because there's a wide different range of skills and experiences that people have had, and you want to build on these throughout the ideas that you're developing. I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat, so I'm going to call it here. So if you're looking for more information, check out the GovHack website. We're going to be launching the GovHack handbook on the weekend, so this will provide more information about what's going on and how you can go participating. So this will be launched on the weekend, so check that out, have a read. It's a little bit of a lengthy read, but it'll give you all the insight on what's going on that you need as a participant. It'll give references to some skills that you can do, some skill training sessions, or some technologies that you can use in the competition. So check that out. We're also launching our a selection of our datasets and data portals for this year's competition onto the hackerspace also on the weekend. So check that out while you're getting ready to compete in GovHack, which will start next weekend, starting at Friday night. Competitions are announced 7 p.m. local time, and most presentations will start at about 6 p.m. local time. So if you're interested in doing this, make sure to register for your events on the hackerspace for the one that you want to attend. This will allow that we make sure that we have enough. We have an idea of the numbers of people attending, so that for our catering, that we can make sure that we can have adequate catering. If we have a whole lot of people turning up just on the Friday night and they haven't registered, there might not be enough food to go around. So let us know if you're participating for this. It's better for us to know more than less, so that people don't go hungry. And we don't want people going hungry over the competition weekend. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you next weekend at GovHack. And I will leave you with these great medals that you can win. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you next time.